Hey everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Simplified. This is the market update for the 8th of February 2018, and it's looking positive. There's a lot of green in this market, but I'm also going to talk a lot about expert perspectives in this market. So that can be today's theme for the video. Before I do that, thank you all so much for the likes, for the subscriptions, and for all the support. We've hit 350 subscribers. Let's move on to bigger and better things. I would like to ask you guys a bit of a favor. YouTube has recently changed their policy on monetization, where earlier they had only required 10,000 views on your channel before you can start monetizing. Now they've changed it completely, and they require 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time over a year before you can monetize your channel. While my timing in all this was really unfortunate, I think it's a good thing for YouTube going forward, because then they can actually ensure that the quality content is the stuff that's getting monetized. So as a favor to me, please let your friends know about this channel. Please ask them to subscribe, especially if they want to learn about cryptocurrency without all the technical jargon around it. Once I monetize this channel, I'll be able to dedicate all my time to this and give you the best possible content that I can. So that's just a little request from me to you. I do hope you like the content and you do tell your friends. But let's get into this market update then. We have had about 100 billion flowing back in, and there are a few pretty sizable gains in this space. Civic have pushed themselves back into the top 100. I quite like Civic because they're trying to fix the identity and KYC problems that we have in this space. KYC is know your customer. So these are all these identification regulations that people need in order to sign up for services such as cryptocurrency whitelists or exchanges. So Civic is a potentially really good project, and they've been quite undervalued. So it feels quite nice to see them shooting up a little bit. Same thing with Lisk. I know a lot of people on YouTube love Lisk, and great, there is some very positive price action there. But overall in this market, we're seeing single-digit gains. Is this a sign of the tide changing? Do not know just yet. I think we'll only know when this dip is over, when we have another bull run where there's a big correction back in the other direction. We want to get as close to 800 billion mark as possible, and some experts are saying that we could even go further than that. So, after all the doom and gloom we've been experiencing in the last month, these experts have crawled out from under the caves in which they inhabit and have told us that Bitcoin will hit $50,000 by the end of this year. Where were you guys when we needed all this positivity? Thank you for nothing. You know I'm not the biggest fan of price-based discussion, because I think the price is just an arbitrary thing. It is this revolution that we have on our hands where we have uniquely identifiable digital assets. This is the game. The price point, okay, fine. While it can make you a bit of money, that is just the short game. The long game is having an established presence in a future world economy. This is a completely new space. There's this fantastic Medium article that talks about the potential of cryptocurrency and where it can go. This is quoting a New York Times article. I'll look for that, but there might be a paywall. So I'll just attach this article for sure. If I can do that, I'll attach this as well. But they're basically telling us that the problems that we have in the internet right now may not be fixable without a massive rethink. Cryptocurrency and the blockchain, you cannot decouple these two ideas, could be an essential pillar in a new internet-based economy. And this is just not one hack thinking this. This is a lot of people who are very bullish on the long-term potential of cryptocurrency. So this recent dip, okay, it might not even matter in the long run. The people who sold at the bottom, sorry, we've been telling you to hodl. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Not at all. We are all in this for several months, several years. So do not expect all this money to be flowing in. You need to ride these waves, ride out the bad times as well. So next up, we have an interview on Bloomberg with the Winklevi. These guys are possibly the only Bitcoin billionaires in the world right now, other than Satoshi. And these guys are bullish on Bitcoin's long-term potential as well. You might notice a pattern here. People who have studied Bitcoin in detail tend to be bullish on its long-term future. Acceptance of cryptocurrencies for me is like acceptance of climate change. The science is there. Everything is very, very easy to see. The potential benefits are as clear as day. Just like in climate change, the potential dangers are as clear as day. The only people denying this are people who do not trust their own senses anymore. People can see the revolutionary potential of this stuff, but for some reason, people are being skeptical, even though all the evidence points to the contrary. This is something that we really need to look into in much more detail. Our planet is getting much, much more polarized, and it isn't necessarily access to facts that is making this polarization. People are just looking the facts in the face and rejecting them. This is a much, much bigger problem than we'd like to think it is. Next up, we have Senator Mark Warner from Virginia. He is talking about blockchain tech, and he's comparing them to the cell phone revolution in the 1980s. There are so many of these world-changing technologies that have come in under a huge cloud of skepticism. Why will people not learn that this is just a cycle of adoption? This skepticism that we are facing right now, there are facts to disprove this skepticism, but people still don't want to take them on board. But now that we have this much wider audience of people not in the millennials generation, but people in the generations above who are endorsing this in the public sphere, this will only be beneficial. This is going to be nothing but beneficial. But what we need to do is get the regulation in a responsible way. Just like Chairman Giancarlo said yesterday, we need to make sure that we do not harm the interests of these excited millennials who see potential in a financial market. Millennials don't like stocks. They do not like dabbling in finance because we've already seen a very, very big recession in our young lives. But cryptocurrency has been this beacon of hope for us, and people do know that. Crypto dads realize this. They have not seen their kids so engaged in something financial ever. So we should not stifle development and enthusiasm. And this is exactly the mentality that the Senate are taking on board, and this will only help society. I can't give only positive news in one video because that won't exactly be an accurate representation of what's happening. So Steve Wozniak has, even though he's an expert who's looked into all this, he's very, very technically proficient. He was one of the big guys at Apple. He's one of the reasons for Apple's success. He knows a thing or two about technology. And he sold off his Bitcoin stake. Well, most of it. Thing is, if you read this article, you realize that it's not about any of the fuddy reasons that people normally sell their cryptocurrency for. He is just a little tired of having to constantly check the price. I know almost all of you guys, if you're watching this video, are constantly checking your blockfolio. And I know it feels really great seeing those numbers fly up. And it also feels awful seeing these red arrows all over your assets. However, I've got through this bear market by just leaving my phone in the corner, not checking my blockfolio, occasionally looking at a few YouTube videos to gauge the sentiment, but I'm just not even looking at my assets. I do this for a few reasons, so that I'm firstly not tempted to sell having seen all these losses, because I do know deep down that if I sell at a loss, that means the loss is real. It's not a loss until you sell it and make that loss a realized loss. So that was my fear in checking my blockfolio, that I would be FOMO'd or pushed into making a trade that I didn't actually want to, in terms of the bigger picture, in terms of what I want long-term in cryptocurrency. But lucky for us, this market could be changing right now. If this is another false dawn, another dead cat bounce, so they call it in the financial world, don't worry. Do not worry. A lot of us are bullish on the long-term potential of cryptocurrency. We believe it's inevitable. I personally believe it's inevitable that cryptocurrency will be a pillar of a new economy. But I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. You need to read up about this. You should read up as much as you possibly can about this, understand the tech as much as you can, and understand the philosophies behind it. Understand why we have reached this point. Understand what was the need to create something like this. There's a lot of very interesting literature. I shall attach some other further links for you to read if you are so interested in doing that. But this is a space where you cannot know enough. There's such rapid development happening in so many different directions over here. You really don't have enough hours in a day to read everything. So I will look for the best articles that I can find. If you have any articles that you've stumbled across, please send them this way. I can never do enough reading about this stuff. So please let me know what you guys think. And I think I'm going to end it over there. Apologies again for the noise and the planes flying over. I seem to live in the noisiest place in the world. I hope to fix this in the next month. I won't reveal anything else. I hope to keep this a surprise. But that seems to be it. That's all I've got to say for today. Stay positive, people. The bear market's almost done. Every day this bear market continues, we are one day closer to the end of it. This is Amar from Crypto Simplified, signing off. You guys take care. Stay positive. We will catch up very, very soon. Later.